Hey guys, Steve from Exclusive Wraps here. Today we're going to be installing another Scrape Armour kit onto this M5 that is Scrape Armour Australia's new demo car. So in this video, we're going to take you over not only how we install the product in the car, we're also going to give you a closer look at some of the details of the product and show you how it does what it's supposed to do, which is obviously protecting the underside of your car and reducing surface friction. So now we're going to take a closer look at the technology and design behind Scrape Armour to give you an idea of why it is so good at doing what it does. Now, first thing you're going to notice is this front edge here. You can see it's chamfered nicely at an angle. All the front edges of the Scrape Armour pieces have what's known as an elliptic profile. So basically it is chamfered at a nice angle that's going to reduce the likelihood of it catching on anything should you happen to scrape over the surface of something. Next up, you can see here, the underside is designed with what is known as Glidetech Rails. The idea behind this system here is to reduce surface friction. So it keeps the rigidity of the product, keeping it very strong, but it eliminates more than 50% of the contact area from touching the ground or concrete or a driveway if you do happen to scrape over it. So the next thing we're going to notice is you can see here, these two larger holes have been designed to take factory fasteners. Now they've been recessed in so that the fastener will sit sunken in and hopefully below the level of the Glidetech rails, meaning if you do scrape over something, it's not going to shave the head off the bolt or screw that goes in it, and it's still going to be removable at a later date. Now, additionally, you can see there are some countersunk holes already existing along the front edge. These ones are designed for you to drill additional holes and use the provided hardware to give the kit a little extra, let's say, strength. And finally, every Scrape Armour kit is designed specifically to fit the underside of that vehicle, which means you're going to get a perfect fit every time. Alrighty guys, so we're going to start in the middle on this one. Now with the M5 kit, it has holes for the pre-existing hardware that are up here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 8mm bolts, and it's been designed to allow you to utilize those factory bolts to attach it to the car. You can see they're also, if we give you a close look there, each of these cutouts is recessed, allowing the bolt to sit in there and sit below the level of the highest point of the Scrape Armour, such that if you do scrape the car or you do scrape the Scrape Armour, you're not going to hit the top of that bolt and shave it away, which would make removing this bumper a lot more complicated. Once we've fastened it using the factory holes, we're going to have to drill a few more along the front edge here because there's nowhere to fasten it on that section. So we've got another 6 holes along the front using the supplied hardware from Scrape Armour, and they're going to sit in there nice and tight and make sure that it doesn't scrape off if you do happen to hit a concrete driveway or a bollard or something like that. Alrighty guys, so we're going to reinstall the remaining factory hardware to hold the Scrape Armour in place. I always say if you're not going to use a hand tool like just a screwdriver or a socket wrench, use a low torque setting when you're fitting them with a drill, because obviously you don't want to over tighten those bolts and damage the fasteners. I'm using one of the very lowest settings on this drill, and I'll probably hand tighten this later on anyway. Alright guys, the next step is we're going to use the supplied retractable drill bit to drill some holes in the front edge of the Scrape Armour kit and use the supplied hardware to fasten it. Alrighty guys, all the screws are in place. Last step, as per usual, is to loosen up the screws along the front edge, fill it with a little bit of the sealant, tighten them back up, smooth off the excess, and we're good to go. Alright guys, and that wraps up fitting the scrape armour to the BMW M5.